Hey alchemists, welcome to the February 2025 full moon. The February full moon happens on February 12th. It happens in Leo in tropical astrology, and the full moon happens in Cancer in sidereal astrology. In this video, I'm going to speak about the astrology and share 3 rituals that you can do to work with the February full moon. I'm also going to share some messages from the Egyptian goddess of healing and protection, goddess Sekhmet. Hey, welcome if you're new here. My name is SolTara. I'm a medium and I share alchemy practices from Atlantis and from ancient Egypt. If that resonates with you, I invite you to subscribe. This February full moon is special for 2 reasons. The first reason is because we're still in the middle of the rare planetary alignment, and I say rare planetary alignment because this is something that has been misunderstood and shared across the internet. Throughout January and February, we will have the unique ability to see 5 planets with a naked eye lined up in the sky. Now, from our vantage point on Earth, they look like they're in a straight line, and that is because of the ecliptic plane. However, they're not really in a straight line. But during this February full moon, we'll be able to see these 5 planets with a naked eye. You can see Uranus and Neptune with binoculars or a telescope, but you will also be able to see the moon. So we'll be able to see 6 cosmic bodies when we look up during this full moon, and this is really special because it is a representation of the internal alignment that we need to start to have as we get ready for the March equinox, which you know is the start of the energy new year. The start of the astrology new year happens in mid-March with the equinox. So that's what makes this full moon extra special, that it happens during this planetary alignment. We won't be able to see so many planets up in the sky all at the same time until October 2028. So during the February 12th full moon, make sure you go outside and you look up at the night sky, because you'll be able to see Venus, Jupiter, Mercury, Mars, Saturn with a naked eye, and the moon. And if you have a telescope, you'll also be able to see Uranus and Neptune. So that's definitely worth watching. The other reason why this February full moon in 2025 is so special is because this is the second to last full moon before the start of the energy new year, the astrology new year, with a March equinox. So when we're starting a new energy year, this is like a big reset. You'll even see it in nature. Nature is resetting itself right now. This full moon is a great release point for new beginnings, and it'll be much easier to release with this full moon compared to the March full moon, because the March full moon will really push us towards closures and purging. So if you want to release with more grace, this February full moon is the one to do it with. So as we get ready for the energy and astrology new year in March, I invite you to join us for a special alchemy workshop for the start of the astrology year and the start of the energy new year. So in this alchemy workshop, we're going to explore 3 alchemy practices from Atlantis and from ancient Egypt. You will use these 3 alchemy practices to align with your highest timeline and potential. There's a lot of people out there talking about timelines, and I talk about it a lot, but we're going to explore what timelines are in depth in this alchemy workshop, including the 5 factors that influence your timeline and how to consciously work with your timeline so that you can align with your highest potential and timeline. If you want to sign up for this March alchemy workshop, you can sign up in the description of this video. First, I'm going to share the messages from the Egyptian goddess Sekhmet around this February full moon. Then I'm going to share some insights about the astrology, and we'll finish with 3 rituals that you can do for the February full moon. So for those of you not familiar, goddess Sekhmet, she is the Egyptian goddess of healing and protection. She is depicted as having a lion head, and she has a solar disc around it representing the pharaohs, the queens of ancient Egypt, and royalty. So Goddess Sekhmet, she is known in the Egyptian pantheon as the daughter of the sun god Ra. And Ra is the ultimate deity within the ancient Egyptian pantheon. Goddess Sekhmet was sent by her father, Ra, to the earth to bring back justice, to bring back balance. So this was during a period where there was a lot of lawlessness and chaos on earth. So Goddess Sekhmet came and to restore balance. And in ancient Egyptian tradition, she is also connected to Ma'at, in restoring cosmic order. So divine order, not human laws, but divine cosmic order. And I think it's so beautiful that she is coming in for this full moon in February right now because of everything that's happening across the world right now in our political scapes, as we're dealing with different laws and legal situations and political situations that are not for the highest good of all. And even though these are artificial, we have to return to that cosmic order. And the way that we do that is by remembering that we are a reflection of everything. So creating internal alignment is important. And it's no accident that this full moon is also happening during this planetary alignment. When we look up, we'll see the planets aligned from our vantage point on Earth, which means that we have to come into alignment and get our human laws in alignment with the divine cosmic laws. When I was preparing for this video, I asked Goddess Sekhmet what are the most important things for us to focus on during this Leo full moon and Cancer full moon. So these are the 3 themes that she shared, and just sit in your heart space and observe how these apply to your own life. So the first theme was about being a leader. She said that we need to start being a leader in our own lives and for those around us. So think about a lion pride. Goddess Sekhmet is depicted as a queen of the lions with her lioness head and the solar disc representing that power, that authority to rule. So think about the lion pride. The prides, they are actually matriarchal, and they are always focused on social cohesion and the highest good of all. This is something that's very important for all of us to integrate. So under this Leo full moon, think about Leo, the king of the jungle, and the lion, the lionesses, they are leaders for their pride. It's the same thing. Now we have to be leaders in our own lives. Obviously, right now, all the leaders around the world of our nations, they are just causing havoc. And it's a reminder that we need to stop giving our power away to external authorities and rather call that power back and just be more intentional with our lives, be more intentional with the decisions that we're making, the choices we're making, and bring that leadership away from the external structures and towards the internal structures within you. And the biggest dominating internal structure within you is your heart. Your heart is your North Star. And it's no accident that this is a Leo full moon in tropical astrology, because the lion heart, it's all about having that courage to be a leader, walk your own path, and to also be a leader for those in this time right now who may be having a difficult time. There's so much instability happening politically, environmentally, socially, and the more that we can be these strong pillars like the matriarchs of the prides of the lions, then the stronger the community and everyone will be better off. And that's exactly what this age of Aquarius is about. It's a community focused era. The other message Goddess Sekhmet had was around balance. So right now we are living in extremely unbalanced times. You can notice the extreme imbalances in the weather, in the policies, in relationships, in the way people are interacting. So everything is going to the extremes right now, which means that your balance is going to look very different during these extreme times. For example, you may need to be sleeping 10 hours a day. Some of you maybe even 11 hours a day. This is because of all the solar flare activity we are receiving. So whenever we have these strong geomagnetic storms, basically these solar hurricanes, our bodies need to rest to integrate the activations. It's like energy surgery. And what happens to you after you have physical surgery, the doctors always tell you to rest. So this will require extra rest right now, especially as we're preparing for the equinox, because during the equinox the veil between the dimensions is thinner because the earth is tilting so we can have seasons. We're going to have cracks in the magnetosphere, which is going to allow more of the solar energy, the cosmic energy, to come into earth, which means we're going to have more of this energy surgery, and your body's going to need to rest because of these activations and upgrades. It's very important for you not to judge yourself right now, not to judge yourself for needing to rest a lot. Or for some of you, it may look like you're needing to eat a lot, like you're eating way more than you usually do. Or it could be the opposite spectrum, where some of you will just have no appetite and you'll actually be naturally pulled to practice fasting. And so don't judge yourself, just listen to your body and create the balance that your body needs. And the balance is gonna look extreme because again, we're living in extreme times. So don't judge yourself to this. And while I was preparing for this, Goddess Sekhmet suggested like I actually watch videos of how lion prides are feasting off of their hunts. So I was watching videos. I don't recommend you do this because I was stuck with just watching hours and hours of like lion videos, but I was watching videos, and if we were to observe how lions behave in the wild, you know, once they catch their prey, then they're having a feast and they look like savages, like all of them just fighting for the food. But in reality, lions, they only eat every 3 to 4 days. So from a human standpoint, we'll be judging them, be like, oh, like they're savages. But think about you. Think about last time you got hangry. Could you have survived 3 to 4 days without food? You would probably be acting like a savage, eating as fast as you could, right? And so that's why it's important for us not to judge what balance looks like. And balance is going to look very different for all of us. The last message that Goddess Sekhmet had for this February full moon is willpower. Tend to the sacred flame in your solar plexus. So the solar plexus is where your personal power, where your free will resides. And it's important right now, as we're moving through all of these storms, all of this global transformation, it's important to have the willpower to release the things that are holding you back from accessing more of your personal freedom and power. It's going to be much easier to release things during the February full moon compared to the March full moon. And that's because every single solstice, every equinox is a soul graduation point. Because we're starting a new energy year in mid-March, then our souls are going to need to purge out things, which means that the healing will kind of be forced to happen. And so if you want to heal with more grace, focus on this February full moon, and I'll share a specific ritual that you can do for this willpower theme. For this February full moon, we're doing a full moon ritual and meditation with Goddess Sekhmet, where we're going to cleanse all of our chakras, because the chakras are this alignment along your spine. It's your main energy centers. They touch on all the organs in your body. They touch on all the thoughts, emotions in your body. So the reason why we're focusing on the chakras is because of this planetary alignment that we're seeing. We look up and the planets look aligned, and that's an external representation of the alignment that we need to create inside. So we're going to do an alchemy fire ritual with the Egyptian goddess of healing and protection, Goddess Sekhmet, who is a master of the fire. That's why we're going to be working with fire alchemy. So once we do this clearing of all of our chakras, then we're all going to focus on the solar plexus to clear out any blocks, any stuck energy that you may be holding on to in your personal power regarding your self-worth, your confidence. We're going to be clearing that and strengthening and lighting up that sacred flame within ourselves so that we can start the energy new year with more confidence and clarity. If you want to join us for this full moon ritual and meditation with Goddess Sekhmet, you can sign up in the description of this video. Now let's explore the astrology of this full moon in February. So the tropical astrology of this full moon is it's happening in Leo, and Leo represents that heart courage. It represents the throat chakra as well. That's the throat that Leo governs. It's very likely that leading up to this February 12th full moon, you'll notice yourself having throat pain, throat discomfort. Especially if you're meditating, you're gonna notice and feel blocks and tension here. One of the reasons is because at the collective level, the collective is learning how to use their voice. Now we have social media, and now we all have this platform to use our voice and free speech. And so there's a correction and a recalibration happening to the collective throat chakra. Also within your own life, if you're having any issues expressing yourself, feeling comfortable speaking your truth, this will show up for you even more. So if you do notice any discomfort around your throat, work with the full moon to release all those imbalances. The Leo full moon is also a call for all of us to courageously choose change. Change is a constant in this universe, and the more that you can consciously choose change, the more graceful your evolutionary process will be. So think about a caterpillar, for example. If the caterpillar is kicking and screaming inside the cocoon, I don't want to change, I don't want to transform, I don't want to morph, then all of that energy is being wasted on the resistance instead of it nourishing the wings of the butterfly. If the butterfly was focused more so on the internal process of surrendering to that transformation and choosing that transformation, choosing change, then it would become a butterfly much faster. Then in sidereal astrology, this full moon happens in Cancer, and Cancer is the home sign for the moon. The moon loves to be in Cancer. Don't be surprised if you get very emotional, very sensitive, vulnerable during this full moon. And I highly recommend you work with water during this full moon. Water is an element that connects us to our dreams, to our intuition, which Cancer heightens our intuition. So maybe take a full moon bath, a full moon shower, just drink more water leading up to this full moon. But working with water is really a powerful way to connect with your subconscious. And the subconscious is where we're storing all of these blocks. Cancer governs the heart chakra. So use your heart chakra, your throat chakra, do some humming, work with some crystals with these two big energy centers, because there's a big highway between the two, to really unlock the power of this February full moon. And was really fascinating, while I was preparing for this video, I always ask what's the most relevant astrology for this full moon, because always with astrology there's so much happening, but there's different levels that it impacts us. And so one of the things that I kept hearing from my guides was Aquarius, Aquarius, Aquarius. So the sun is going to be in Aquarius during this February full moon. And when the sun is in any sign, it charges all of that bright light into that concentration of what that astrology sign represents. Aquarius is all about being unique, being authentic, walking your own path. So work with this Aquarius energy that is also being illuminated by the sun to have the courage to walk your own path. With this full moon, you might notice that your creativity will also rise. So when you are taking the time to connect with this full moon, focus on what are the creative ways that you can carve your own path moving forward, because now it's about doing things in a completely different way, and you're here to walk a unique path, your own path. During this full moon, both the sun and the moon are going to square Uranus. And a square in astrology, it's the most friction aspect that there can be. So just think about you squaring up with someone. It's like you're about to fight them. Think about like the planets squaring up to fight each other. So it's a very tense aspect. And Uranus represents shocking surprises, shaking things up. It represents innovation, a call for freedom. So it's very likely that we'll see shocking surprises on the global stage, but also you may notice that at a personal level in your own life. And it's really important for you just to remember to keep mastering your energy. This is a daily thing you need to be doing, mastering your mind, mastering your thoughts. That's one of the things that we're going to focus on inside of the alchemy workshop in March. Because if we're not constantly mastering our mind and our thoughts, during every full moon, during every portal, every eclipse, we'll just be at the mercy of the planets, and we're kind of going to be their puppets, just responding to what they're doing. Instead, you want to be an active participant with the astrology rather than be at mercy for it. So just a heads up that you may need to prepare yourself for shocking news and just things shaking up. Perhaps we'll see earthquakes as well happening around the world. Here are the 3 rituals that you can do for this February full moon. The first ritual is about focusing specifically on one thing you are consciously choosing to release. So like I mentioned earlier, it's going to be much easier to release with the full moon in February compared to the March one, because that one will like push you to purge. So instead of saying I am releasing fear, instead really fine tune your intention. Is there a particular fear that you have? Is it fear around not having enough time? Is it fear around rejection? Is it fear around your finances, your health? So focus on specifically what that fear is about, and use the moon's bright light to focus and all of that light to release that one particular thing. This February full moon is truly a special energy for new beginnings because we're getting prepared for the energy new year. Think about when you turn on the headlights in your car. The lights don't immediately turn on. It takes a few seconds for them to be totally on. It's the same thing what's happening right now. The spring is coming, the energy new year, the astrology new year is coming, but that light is already starting to flow into our planet. If you can focus on releasing one specific thing, it'll help you to clear space to start to receive this new energy that's already starting to flow in. The second ritual you can do is start awakening your creativity. We just had Imbolc on February 1st. Imbolc is the midpoint between the solstice and the equinox. It's the pagan Celtic festival where they celebrated the fire returning to earth, because then the fire, the warmth rays of the sun are slowly returning to our planet. So this is a time for you to bring the light, bring the creativity back into your life. So think about things that truly spark you up, light that inner fire within you. Is it music that you need to be writing right now? Do you need to decorate your home again? We just had the Lunar New Year, which brings in a whole new set of feng shui principles. Every year the feng shui principles change. So maybe is this a time for you to reorganize and redecorate your home? Or maybe is it now the time for you to have more creativity in your career, in your projects? So this is a time for you to spark up your creativity. Again, the full moon, it's bright light. It is shining light on our subconscious, and your subconscious has so much creativity, so much wisdom. It's directly tapped into your soul, which is multidimensional. So start to channel through art and through creative outlets. The third ritual that you can do is start to awaken the divine within you. We're starting to have more light in our lives and in our consciousness, in our awareness, in our vitality. One of the things that you have to focus on is identifying what are the things that make you feel dirty or less than the divine. Sometimes we tend to worship and praise our angels, our spirit guides, and we think they're better than us and they're superior. But actually, at a soul level, every single soul is the same. So you have to identify what is something that makes you feel less than, and start to reconnect with your divinity and honor your divinity. Some of the ways that you can do this is by working with your crown chakra during this full moon. Maybe you can start to chant Om, A-U-M. Start to chant Om as you focus on your heart. Om is the frequency that activates your crown chakra. You can also work with lepidolite, crystal quartz. You can work with Lemurian quartz. You can work with amethyst, any purple or clear crystals. These will be great for your crown chakra, because the crown chakra is where you receive information from the divine. Chanting Om will be especially helpful because, again, remember, the Leo full moon, it focuses on the throat, so that will help you to get two benefits. If you are uncomfortable with your voice, or you don't want to chant for hours and hours, then you can also play 963 hertz, which is the frequency for the crown chakra, and you can play these frequencies in your home to start to subconsciously stimulate and open up your crown chakra. I hope to see you at our full moon ritual and meditation with Goddess Sekhmet, where we're going to clear all of our chakras and we're going to strengthen our willpower so that we can start the energy new year with more confidence. If you want to join us for that ritual, you can sign up and get more information in the description of this video. And I'm curious to hear, what is something that you are consciously choosing to release under this full moon? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for your likes, your shares, your subscribes. I recommend that you watch this video right here if you are feeling unstable with all the chaos happening around the world. Happy full moon, alchemists. Much love.